Welcome back to the second part of our myths and misconceptions around venture capitalist and startup funding. These have been one of the most exciting episodes for Druce and I because these are the topics we get asked the most questions about, and we're hoping that some of these hit on some of the questions you've had as well. So we're going to jump right in. Join us today. Looking forward to it. So I'm John Duren, one of your co-hosts, and welcome to the Startup Planner.
And I'm Druce MacFarlane. I can't wait to get into this topic. This is, as John mentioned, this is actually a rather exciting topic because we get to dispel all those bad misconceptions that a lot of people go into their startups with. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the first topic?
Topic number one: venture capitalists expect to take controlling interest in my company in exchange for their investment. This is not true. Most of the venture capitalists out there are looking to help you make your business better. They also don't have enough staff amongst themselves to manage and completely control every business that they invest in. There's a number of challenges associated with that, but the biggest is they're there to help you succeed. As we've said multiple times, they may sound like a shark, and you often hear that term referred to as around venture capitalists. But remember, if they invest in you, they're your shark. And that gives you that opportunity to have them behind you, supporting you through your growth, and especially in the early stages of your business. So no, they're not interested in taking controlling interest always. I mean, there are situations, and maybe Druce can chime in on that. But their goal really is to provide you the resources you need to be successful, because in the long run, they want to see that company go public so that they can win from their investments.
Absolutely. And that actually kind of dovetails into the second topic. But I will say that they are going to want to protect their money. You will see them asking for things like a board seat, and they may offer you good suggestions in terms of people that you would want on your executive staff. And they may even get to the point where they sort of like, well, are you sure that you want to be the CEO? Because we've got this adult supervision. So that comes down to the next topic here, which is you can't negotiate terms with the venture capitalists, and you absolutely can. That's all part of getting to what they call a term sheet. And the term sheet is you start negotiating with your VC, and you're basically saying, you're going to take this amount of money, and then they're going to get, X number of stock, in exchange for that. But once you set up a stock price, but then there are also going to be things like whether or not they get a board seat, or whether or not any of these other things end up happening. Everything there is negotiable. You may choose a VC specifically because they aren't going to be in your business all the time, or you may choose to have one because they do. I mean, if you've got a venture capitalist and they've got a tremendous track record of taking people public, but for that they want to put in their own CEO, that's a decision that you're going to end up having to make, but it is all negotiable. I've been with some startups where we chose the venture capitalists specifically because they weren't going to make any changes to our executive staff, and they weren't going to be making any changes to the board members. They weren't going to have their own board seat on there. They were just basically money. So that is possible. In that specific case where we did that, I really wish that we hadn't, because smart money probably would have done us a lot of good at that point in time too. So if they are asking for additional control, it's not necessarily always a bad thing. You have to figure that one out based on what your goals are.
Okay, our third topic. So once a venture capitalist is brought in, they make all the business decisions. So there might be a little bit of truth behind this one, Druce. While it's not completely true, not every venture capitalist is looking to take complete control of your business. As you mentioned, there may be situations where that actually is of best interest for you and the concept, the project, the plan, etc. But for the most part, that's not the goal of a venture capitalist company. Their entity exists to loan money to startup companies and help those companies survive, help those companies grow and reach that point of maturity where they can become a public-facing company. They're not in there to run a lot of companies. I mean, that takes a lot of resources. It actually is very costly. But again, there are situations where I think you may have even seen a couple of those in your past, Druce, where maybe it would have been better if they had taken the business decisions on.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there Their primary thing is they're out for their own, to protect their own interests, which is good, and that's going to mean varying levels of control over what it is that you're doing. And again, you have to figure that one out as well. But it's not necessarily always a bad thing. But again, if that's not what you're looking for, that is something that you can negotiate in the term sheet. As long as they have some sort of if you do agree to giving them a board membership, that is something that they will have some sway over, but they're not going to be involved in the day to day. Now, having said that, something that you can potentially look forward to if everything works out well is, you end up having a pretty tight relationship with these venture capitalists after you've had a successful exit. If you've helped them get things over the line, had a successful exit, either your company got acquired for a lot of money, or maybe you've even got an IPO, which is, again, the unicorn style thing, they're going to be very happy with you, and they're going to keep turning to you time and time again. So I mentioned that there's often a circumstance where the venture capitalists will come in and say, well, we want to invest, but we would like to bring in some adult supervision. You do this successfully, you might be that adult supervision for another company later on down the road too. So, these are relationships that you end up building that end up lasting a long time, especially if things work out well. So the next one that we're going to be talking about here is that you don't have to have a complete product, or you do have to have a complete product, before you actually go out and talk to a VC. It is best when you go out and you talk to a venture capitalist. What's really important is that you're going to them with an idea of, this is what I want to do with that money. And that, whatever that reason is, shouldn't be so we can last just a little bit longer. Like, you've got to be going out there and doing something for us, like either, okay, we've got a complete product and now we have to get a sales team, or we got a sales team and we want to expand out to Europe, or we want whatever it is that your goal is. That's what those things are supposed to be. There are people that get funding with a good idea, and they can walk in, they're like, well, we've got this wonderful idea, we need you to fund it so that we can actually hire some developers to actually build this thing out. The problem with that is the earlier on that you get money, the more the company that you're going to be giving up in order to be able to get that money. So if you ask too early, you're going to be giving a lot more up. A company that is just two guys and an idea is worth a lot less than two guys, an idea, and a working prototype, or two guys, an idea, and a product that is actually getting ready to go to market. Like, the farther along you get, the higher your company is going to be valued, and the less of the company you're going to have to give away for whatever amount of money that you're asking for. So while it's not necessary that you have a complete product, it is often, like the longer you can go without taking that money, the better it's going to end up being for you. But it's not a hard and fast rule.
I think the old saying is, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. In this scenario, the more mature your product is, the better of a value you are, the more, I would really probably refer it more in the terms of risk, the less risk. So the venture capitalists are going to be far more interested if there is a product there. But as you say, it's absolutely not required.
When it comes to a startup, execution's absolutely everything. If you're trying to draw the line between, like, if I keep on going, bootstrapping until I get a workable product, but that's going to be 2 years from now, and you're going to miss the market if you do that, maybe it's worthwhile taking that money in and giving away more of the company now, so you actually have money to hire engineers and turn that around in 6 months instead of a year and a half. There are benefits to doing either. It's all depends on where you are, where the market is, where the product is. Make the best choice.
I think you may have just keyed in on another future topic there, Druce. So this has been 4 more of our topics around myths and misconceptions as it relates to venture capitalists. If you like what you're hearing, if this is as hitting the points with you that we know many of the folks we speak with have brought up, we please encourage you to like and subscribe, because there's one more episode of our myths coming, and we look forward to seeing you on that call. I'm John Duren, and thanks for joining.